Hello out there, YO Universe. This is Survivor 2002 coming at you again from the Secret Lair in Virginia. And I hope you're as happy to see me as I am to see you guys. And if you're surprised, get in line. Because I didn't really expect to be here until the start of the new show in August, which I've been talking just a little bit about back and forth on my Facebook page and at YouTube. If you stuck with me through the American Idol recaps, you probably heard me mention that I was toying with the idea about doing recaps for So You Think You Can Dance, and it was just a germ of an idea that I was fooling around with. I wasn't really serious about it, but as I watched the auditions, I started to think, well, maybe this season's really going to be worth doing some clips about. But I'll reserve judgment until after the auditions, and I made myself a promise. If it looked like it was going to be the crappiest collection of dancers ever, then I was off the hook. I wasn't going to have to do any more clips, and we would just wait until the new show and then the next season of American Idol. But lo and behold, boys and girls, this is shaping up to be probably the best collection of dancers that they've had in the past make that now 5 seasons. They are unbelievable. If you have not checked out the show yet, now is the time to get started. And I will tell you that one thing by itself really inspired me to go ahead and do these clips, and that was the very engaging and bittersweet story of Ryan and Evan Kasperzak. Now, if you're a viewer of the show, you know who Evan is, because the grace, the athleticism, that infectious smile he has, it was like watching the reincarnation of Gene Kelly on stage right before your eyes. And basically that's really who he is, or at least it seems like that's who he is. And we were crossing fingers, toes, and everything else that this man was going to go away, take some classes, and come back stronger and better than ever before for this season. And damn if he didn't do it. Not to mention, he introduced us to the person who is most instrumental in getting him on the show, his big brother Ryan, who choreographed a lot of his moves and who is an unbelievable dancer in his own right. So it was so great to see them pop up on this season. It killed me, and I'm sure everybody else, when they probably intentionally waited until the very last part of the auditions to split the brothers up, and that was a tearjerker. That's probably one of the biggest TJs this show has ever had. But I am 110% confident that Ryan has nothing to worry about. I think that now that his name and his face and presence are known out there, he's going to get a heck of a lot of work, so not even worried. So without further ado, let's go and recap exactly what happened last night. Okay, our first couple was JEANINE and PHILLIP. They did a hip-hop number choreographed by Tabitha and Napoleon, and it was performed to the song Mad by Neo. Now, JEANINE and PHILLIP, I'm not sure if they were the couple that were paired together in the audition phase, but PHILLIP, you might remember, is the guy that does the crazy popping and locking moves, and he was engaged in a battle with another guy back in season 4, and they were phenomenal. But he came back this year better than ever, came with a partner who was definitely about as far away from his style as you can possibly get, but they complemented each other so well in the audition phase in Vegas that they are now part of the top 20. So they did Tabitha and Napoleon's number last night, and they kicked the show off with a bang. They were absolutely amazing. All the judges pretty much said the same thing. I cannot imagine them being in danger of having to dance for their lives, so they're cool. Hopefully you can go back and see the performances if you kept this on your DVR or whatever taping system you're using, and if not, look on YouTube, because I think a lot of these performances are either going to be posted there or over on the Fox So You Think You Can Dance website. So I'll give you the information, and you'll be able to use that to go back and hopefully find these if you haven't seen them already. Next was ASUKA and VITOLIO. ASUKA is the Japanese ballroom dancer, I think, that does Latin, and she knocked everybody for a loop from the word go when she showed up with her partner. And they did very well. Unfortunately, her partner didn't do as well as she did in the audition phase, so she made it through, he didn't. But she was paired with VITOLIO, who has one of those real classic hard luck stories, and that you were so glad to see him make it through. But they did a number choreographed by Tyce DiORIO, who you know is the Broadway specialist, and they did it to the Hot Honey Rag, which is from the Chicago show soundtrack. Okay, now a little bit about So You Think You Can Dance versus American Idol. I don't want to diss the people on Idol who are really, really talented, but I think that it requires a lot more of the people who are on this show than it does on Idol, because you can somewhat vamp and charm your way through a song and make it by the skin of your teeth. You can't fake dance. There's just no way you can do it. You are continually asked to do things with your body that are freaking impossible for most of us to even fathom. But getting back on track here, ASUKA and VITOLIO did Tyce's routine, and I have to agree with all the judges, especially the way Nigel put it. It was really good. The steps and everything were executed flawlessly, but whenever I see Broadway on this show, the first thing that comes to mind is the team of Benji and Lacey Schwimmer. You remember them. Benji won season 1 or 2, I believe, and Lacey was a strong competitor in the season that followed her brother. And when they did Broadway together, there was nothing like it, because they not only did they do the moves, but they literally just sprinkled personality dust all over the audience, the stage, everything. I mean, they oozed personality out every pore. They not only looked like they knew what they were doing, they were having a hell of a time doing it. And that's what was so enjoyable about the performances. And ASUKA and VITOLIO, even though they were technically good, that sense of personality just was not there. So I hate to say it, but they're probably going to be one of the first couples in the bottom 3 that are going to have to dance for their life. But following them, the third couple was KARLA and Jonathan doing a Tony Meredith number, which was a cha-cha, to Lady Gaga's Poker Face, a song that I don't particularly care for, but KARLA and Jonathan, they were pretty good. They were pretty good as far as that goes. Now, the only thing is, Jonathan comes across as being still kind of green and very young. He's just not as seasoned as a lot of the other guys are in this competition. I don't think they're in trouble, but we'll have to see what the voting public says. Okay, gotta fan myself off here for number 4, because Evan danced with RANDI to another Tyce DiORIO number. This time it was a jazz number, and the song was I Only Have Eyes for You by Jamie Cullum. Now, the story here was supposed to be about 2 lovers who basically are physically and emotionally so into each other that they almost fuse into one person. They danced that just like Tyce had choreographed it, and they told the story at a level that made everybody go, wow. Especially since RANDI happened to mention in the little clip before they danced that she's married. She didn't look very married in this performance at all, so I think maybe Evan might need a bodyguard. But I have a feeling that, well, hopefully, RANDI's husband, John, is very understanding about this, because they brought it. They set that stage alight, pretty much. So Evan is already off on a beautiful start. RANDI, if she was just riding his coattails, which she's not, she's doing well in her own right. They have nothing to worry about.